Right, okay, so we're here. Everton away, what's your name and introduce yourself?
My name's John. I've been in Everton season ticket holder for 20 odd years.
Right.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, so before we jump in, because obviously you've got an exciting future with the takeover, the stadium, everything.
Yeah.
So a couple of questions beforehand. So Anthony Gordon is playing against you today.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of hostility in Everton, the way that he left with the fans?
Depends who you ask. I personally couldn't care less, but you'll see when he touches the wall today, most of the ground will be booing him. Like,
What are you expecting?
he's definitely improved since he left us.
Yeah.
Decision making's well better than when he was here. He's direct, and the back four that we've got out today could terrorise us, to be honest. I'm a bit fearful of that.
The new owners are coming in. They're trying to get the deal done before January.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Does that kind of fill you with the promise? Because obviously you've been fighting relegation the last few seasons. Is this the kind of light at the end of the tunnel for you guys?
It is, but it all depends on what we're then allowed to spend afterwards. I mean, obviously PSR's killed us off a couple of times already in the last few seasons. Just because they've got a load of money, it doesn't mean that they can come in and splurge a load of money. Like you said, like Newcastle, you haven't been able to spend a load of money despite the funds that you've got. So
is there an expectation for you guys to spend, or is there not? What's the kind of feeling in?
Yeah, I think people do expect us to spend. If you look at what they've done with Roma, they spent a bit of money there. They've had relative success. They've won a European trophy, and trying to reapply that to whatever they're trying to do. I think people have got high expectations. So I think in dream world, yeah, they're going to come in and everything's going to be rosy, but the reality might be something different.
Yeah. So are you expecting big money in January specifically then? Because obviously you'll probably be floating around 15th, I would imagine, that sort of area.
Optimistic,
yeah. Do you reckon that might kind of give you the boost that you need, an extra 20, 30, how many million to spend?
It might, again, it all depends on what it does to the PSR stuff. So if it takes us away from that and we're able to spend a bit of money, then yeah, spend as much as we can. But if it's going to put us at risk of another points deduction, that might be the final nail, because we've been circling the drain the last few years and we've been really lucky to get away with it so far.
The owner that's going to leave you as well, does he kind of leave with your best wishes? Is kind of a dark stain on Everton? How do you see that?
He's possibly the worst thing that's ever happened to Everton. Simple as that, really.
Yeah.
Came in with good intentions, it's gone horrifically wrong. Spent a lot of money to go nowhere, or backwards, I suppose. So, best wishes, no. Thanks for trying, but it hasn't been a success.
What did go wrong? Because obviously there's a handful of cases where you spend a load of money and the players didn't really do this up. You had Sigurdsson as well, obviously the guy that no one talks about.
Exactly. I mean, we're a bit of a hard luck story through our entire history, but like you look at the big spend that we had in like 2017, we signed 5 players. Nobody knew who we were signing or who was actually making those signings. You ended up with half a dozen centre midfields or number 10s, and you couldn't also legislate for every single one of those signings being a flop. No, none of those signings are a success. So, it's just a bit of bad luck, a bit of bad scouting, like no sort of cohesion with who was making those signings. So, it's not gone well. It hasn't been a success in the last few years, money or not.
It's an impossible question to ask at the minute, but how hopeful are you this season as well? Obviously, it depends on what's going to happen in January with the new ownership and stuff like that. How hopeful are you that you might avoid the drop, or do you think you could get sucked into that? Obviously, the 3 teams last season that got promoted were very weak teams. You got Leicester, who seemed like they were all right. Southampton looked a bit naff.
Yeah, I think we're in trouble. We're in real trouble.
More than normal, or not?
Yeah, I think when we brought Dyche in, it was for a specific purpose. He's got a very specific brand of football. That brand of football's got a shelf life, and we've got exponentially worse in the time that he's been here. And people know how to play against us. Been hit with a few injuries again this season, and you're right. Like, we could have stayed up on 27 points last year. So people think it was a big success, and it was like if we hadn't had the points deductions, then we'd have been like 11 or something like that. But the fact is, we did have the points deductions. It did change the picture of the season, and the season was just not good. We're not a good football team. Again, there's no plan other than just lump it into the channels or lump it into the box and hope something happens. And a lot of teams can play against that. I think we're in real trouble, and there's a bit of a complacency around here where other people don't think we're in trouble and we'll be all right. But personally, I think we're in big trouble.
What's your thoughts on Dyche as well? Because I listen to talks more as well. You'll hear the occasional nut job that gets through live, and they say that, Dyche won about this, that, and the other. Personally, I think he's an all right manager. He can only deal with what cards you dealt with and stuff like that.
I agree and disagree to an extent. I personally would have shook hands with him when he kept us up 2 seasons ago. Again, he's brought in with a specific purpose. He did it. Shake hands. Your reputation's enhanced. We're a Premier League football team. And we move on. But because he stayed, he's been allowed to make signings to his brand of football, and that brand of football, as I said before, has got a shelf life. I think we're in trouble if we keep him.
New stadium, one of the best stadiums around. It's going to look fantastic and stuff like that. How optimistic can you be as an Everton fan? Because obviously that's going to fetch in more revenue. That means you can spend a little bit more.
Optimistic, but it's one of those things that, again, it's almost like two-pronged. Like, some people think it'll be like a silver bullet and we'll just like limp along until we get into the stadium and everything will be all right. Again, I'm quite a pessimist in that respect. I think it won't be that easy. But equally, as much as Gooders and I'll be devastated to leave, that's something brilliant. Like, it's a brand new stadium. It will mean better things. It will mean more income for match day revenue. It will be a better fan experience. I mean, we're in the fan zone now. It's not brilliant. Let's be honest about it. Whereas down at Bramley Moor, it'll be completely different.
Different level. So this is the last Everton versus Newcastle game here at Goodison. What's your score prediction as well?
I've got this little internal rule that if Everton go 3-0 down, then I get off. I reckon I could be getting off in the first half today.
Well, right, okay. We've seen the team sheets. I probably know why you're thinking that. Why do you think that?
Well, as I said, our back four, we've got injury problems. We've got nothing really at the top end of the pitch either. I think it's going to be a long day for us. You've gone full pace up front, and we're not good against pace. And I think you could. The other season when Isaac walked one in, I think we could be seeing similar stuff again today. I think last season, one of the better games here at Coulson Park against yourselves. That was quite a high point.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but I just can't see like striking twice again today.
So we always ask at the end as well, opposition view of Newcastle. Where do you think Newcastle are going to finish the season? Who are you most worried about today? There's no Isaac as well, so you've kind of missed a little bit with that one.
Yeah, Anthony Gordon's the obvious danger, but you've got good players pretty much all over the pitch. So
he never played well.
No, I think he might try too hard, I think, because he's up here. But again, I think he's improved sort of season on season. He's only been a couple of seasons, obviously, but since he's left us, he's improved markedly compared to what he was when he left here. And he's obviously a danger. He's dead direct, he's quick, he's pacey, he's added goals. Seems to be your main man at the moment, especially with that new contract news as well. So he's flying, and so he's going to be the big danger. But you've got people like in midfield as well. Like, our midfielders are brilliant. Yeah. Technically not the best. They'll run all day and they'll try and compete. But I mean, if you let us have the ball, we'll hang ourselves. We'll self-destruct. So we're in trouble all over the pitch today. I'm not optimistic, as you can probably tell.
Pickford as well. Last question. He gets loads of grief. Yeah. I think he plays up to it a little bit, rather than focus on the game. Is that a hindrance, do you think? As an Everton fan who obviously wants him to not concede and stuff like that?
I don't think so personally. Loads of people focus on that. I think he's that type of personality anyway. Even away from Newcastle, he's sort of like always on edge, and he's always trying to play up, and he's always just a bit mad, basically. And I think that takes away from how good a goalkeeper he actually is. I think people see that and think he's not very good, or he makes mistakes. Where he's basically single-handedly kept us up for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Like Richarlison 3 seasons ago, and him, and then since that it's been Pickford, and Pickford's been our player of the season. So I love him personally. Bit of a lunatic.
Is he right to be England #1?
Yes.
In front of Pickford?
100%. 100%.
There we go. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.